birth rates are steadily declining. Scientists are now predicting that by the year 2040, 40 to 50% of men will be infertile, basically meaning either you or me will be unable to have kids by the year 2040. And I would say now more than ever before, it is so crucial that we eat the way God called us to eat, because the food that we eat, the things that we consume, are one of the main reasons for that infertility rise, for the fact that most young Christian men will not be able to have kids. What actually is the diet plan that God wants us to follow? Well, the first thing is we need to start doing intermittent fasting and actual multiple day fasts more often. I'm going to bro science this, right? Because I don't understand the actual scientific terms for it, but pretty much on a bro science level, when you do extended fast, your body no longer has to process this food or digest this food. So your cells actively go and repair themselves. So if you have cancerous cells in your body and then you go on a multiple day fast, your cells will actually start repairing and eliminating cancerous cells, meaning you can avoid cancer. You can live longer just by doing intermittent fasting and then long-term fast, like a few day fasts every so often. I don't think it's a coincidence that the Bible talks about fasting so much. Also, a big part of this is just the food that we eat. Like, we're so programmed to eat processed foods now, where if you tell someone, this is how crazy it actually is now, right? When you tell someone that you just eat like a clean diet, right? Like a godly diet where you just eat, let's say, red meat, eggs, fruit, vegetables, stuff like that. People think that's an extreme diet. People think that's weird. But when you eat processed food with like literal oil in it and seed oils that, you know, they use to run jet fuel or make jet fuel, no one bats an eye at that. Like, we'll eat an Oreo and no one questions it, but you eat like chicken every day or steak every day and people think you're mad. People think you're crazy for it. I'll just come right out and say it. I've said it in some of my Instagram and TikTok videos. I think it's disrespectful if you're a Christian and you're fat. Like, you are actively disrespecting the temple if you are a Christian and you are fat. And food is one of Satan's secret weapons. That's another thing that people just don't talk about. One of the biggest temptations that we have in this generation is food, right? We eat meals 3 times a day, but if you go back into the Bible and you look at and you even look in Genesis, look in the garden, Satan tempted Adam and Eve with fruit. Sure, it was a temptation to know, right? Temptation of knowledge, but it was always temptation with food first. This is why I harp on the fact that self-improvement is so biblical. It's a Christian thing, is because you should be thriving, you should be prospering in all areas of your life, including your health, including in the way you look. When you have to understand that people see with their carnal eyes first, not their spiritual eyes when they look at Christians. You should have a lifestyle that like non-Christian people look at and will go, wow, I would love to be a part of that. That's the fruits of God, right? You should be in good shape. You should look good. You should look attractive. You should take care of yourself. This shouldn't be a controversial thing, but Christianity has gotten so soft now. People have gotten so soft now. People like the idea of just, oh, I'm saved by God and, you know, I'm not going to work on anything. People think being fat is normal, right? On social media, they're trying to normalize the idea of being obese, and it's not. It's unacceptable. It's one of the main reasons depression has gone up, infertility has gone up, and all these types of things is because people aren't eating the way we're called to eat. So how should we actually eat? What foods should we actually eat? Well, for starters, some people are going to tell you need to eat vegan. Some people are going to tell you need to eat vegetarian. Some people are going to tell you need to do carnivore. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I do. Here's the thing. When they're all debating about it, listen to all of them and take it all in, right? Because all the people that are debating it are 40, 50, 60 years old right now. We'll see who lasts longer. You know, like, we'll see which person goes first, and then whoever goes first, we're like, they were wrong, and then you just go to the other diet. That's the first. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. I'm just gonna tell you what I'm doing and what I think God has called us to eat, because I think, especially as a young masculine man, you're Christ focused, you're on self-improvement, you're trying to build muscle, your testosterone should be going up. My testosterone, the first time before I learned about any of this, before I learned about estrogenics, we'll talk about that in a second. Before I learned about any of it, my testosterone was like 313, something like that, 340. And in the last 6 months, I started doing this protocol that I'm about to share with you, and I took my testosterone now through the winter too. Normally your testosterone goes down through the winter because you get less vitamin D. My testosterone is now at 580. So my testosterone has almost doubled in 6 months. For one, I eat 5 to 7 eggs every single day. If you can go to like the Amish people or something like that, where they're like pasture raised, and get their eggs, eat those. Red meat constantly, ground beef, grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef, grass-fed, grass-finished steak, chicken. I try and avoid pork. I think there's a reason that the Old Testament tried to tell us or tried to have us avoid pork so much. I think there's a reason for that. You can't actually cook out the parasites out of pork. That's a fact. You can look that up. That's probably why. I eat fruit, vegetables, nuts, cheese. That's all cool. Gouda, grass-fed butter. And that's probably 90 to 95% of my diet. And every now and then I might have something like processed or something that I really shouldn't, but no one's perfect on their diet. Key is, if you want to have a godly diet, if you almost want to have a biblical diet, do intermittent fasting like we talked about. do occasional few day fasts. And then also, by the way, intermittent fasting is when you don't eat until maybe about noon, right? So you finish your last meal maybe around like 6, 7, 8 p.m. and then you don't eat again the next day until like noon, midday. But in general, if you want to eat a godly diet, just eat one ingredient foods. A one ingredient food it's simple: potato, broccoli, steak, chicken. It's only one ingredient in it. That's how you should eat. And you can eat vegan or vegetarian or whatever if you want. Me personally, I think it's a little beta to do that, but that's just me. The older people debating saying that vegan is the right diet end up being the ones right, in which case I'll switch to it. But other than that, take a zinc supplement and take a vitamin D supplement. They're two like building blocks to increasing your testosterone and increasing your fertility. But really, if you want to increase your fertility, that's why I recommend that book, Estrogeneration. You have to cut out estrogenics. Estrogenics are all over in our society, and if you do not cut them out, if you do not cut out the processed food, you are likely going to be the one that can't have kids. You will meet your beautiful feminine wife one day after all these years on Christ-focused self-improvement, building that business, getting that career, building yourself up, and then you guys are going to get married and you won't be able to have kids. Dude, can you imagine that? Can you imagine what that would feel like? I don't want that for you. Read the book Estrogeneration if you want. How about this? If you want, and you're still watching this video, just like and just comment, just say like Estrogeneration review or something like that. I did a review for my exclusive community, the King's Room, and I basically broke down like all of the different estrogenics that it talks about and how to eliminate them. And if this gets, let's say 10 comments that do that, then I'll go ahead and I'll post that video here for free on YouTube. That way you guys can get it. But this is God's diet plan. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe for more. I'm going to be trying to post on YouTube every single day. We have a free community and the King's Room, my paid community, down below. I'll link them both below. Subscribe for more. I hope you stay blessed.